Hello and welcome everybody into PHNX Suns After Dark. We all needed this today. We got some basketball that after the first half was fun.
It was cathartic after the first half.
Yeah, after the first half was more fun than it was at the start. 27-3 run. The Suns went on to put themselves in the lead for good. And let me introduce everybody. This is the PHNX Suns After Dark, brought to you by our friends at DraftKings, America's #1 sportsbook app. Use the code PHNX when signing up. You're going to get $200 in free bets when you put $5 on any NFL team if they win. It's just that easy. I'm joined by some faces you might recognize. Shane's from behind the Mac.
Ooh.
Shane Diefenbach joining us, and Derek Montilla, our Diamondbacks extraordinaire. We thought you could come in and talk about some wins for the first time.
I don't know what that's like, so this is exciting.
Yeah, welcome. It's good to have you here. And look, the Suns defeat the Rockets tonight by a final score of 123-111. It was closer than that at points.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, the Rockets led for a portion of this game, which isn't what Suns fans expected. This was a 1-6 team. They had lost 5 in a row. 5 of their 6 losses had been by double figures coming into this game. And then the Suns fell down early, and that was a little troubling.
Well, it's exactly kind of what we expected. A young team coming to Phoenix that can get hot from beyond the arc, and they're not afraid to shoot. I mean, as we talked about in the pregame show, Espo, Jalen Green loves shooting the basketball. He has a lot of fun doing it. And I liked watching Turkish man Senjun as they
Turkish man. I like watching
Senjun.
Turkish man.
I like watching Turkish man. They have a fun team. They have a future to look forward, but it's not very good right now. So yeah, I'm happy the Suns handled business later in the game because man, this would have been ugly if they didn't.
Me too.
Yeah, my biggest concern was when they were when the Rockets had 75 points early in the third quarter, and this is a team that hasn't filled it up like this season, right? It's just defensively, I was pretty let down by the Suns and what they were able to do, and then that was the tipping point. It seemed like at that point they locked it down and looked like the team we expect them. It's that they look so lost at times, and yet they're still able to all of a sudden come back and turn it on like they did in the second half.
Well, and defensively has been a big problem all year.
Right,
huge.
I mean, that's been one of their biggest problems, especially defending the three-point line. So I won't say I was surprised by anything that I saw tonight defensively from the Suns. Disappointed maybe, but they did tighten it up. I mean, one of the biggest defensive stretches was JaVale McGee.
The goaltend.
Yes.
I mean, it felt like he channeled Dikembe Mutombo for a good part of, I believe that was the third quarter.
Yeah.
And then Devin Booker had a big block as well. And I think that set the tone for that, the latter half of that third quarter and the fourth quarter where there was better defense. They defended things better, which helped them expand that lead and then wind up winning by double figures.
Yeah, Mikhail had one late too. The JaVale swing that happened, it's so JaVale because just 4 minutes before that, he had turned the ball over, almost turned it over twice because he was flopping around like he normally does. And then he comes out and provides that energy. You just really don't know what you're going to get. They had a crazy stat. In that 18 points he had, I don't know if this was accurate, but he only played 9 minutes last game and was minus 18, but he had 18 points. It is just so JaVale.
I completely agree that Nader needs more time on the court, by the way.
Oh,
absolutely.
I don't want to get into this.
No more Abdel Nader.
I saw somebody in the Discord say Nader must be a really good practice player because what the hell is going on?
I think Monty just has a really close relationship with him and just does not want him not to get minutes.
Yeah.
Him
It
being
drives
sad.
me nuts. He does not want Abdel Nader sad on the bench.
He's very good looking. I don't know what to tell you. He's probably very
He
charming.
looks like Walmart Devin Booker.
I don't know.
All right?
I don't feel that same way. I don't think a lot of people
Look,
do.
guys. If I wouldn't, my beauty doesn't translate on the court, so I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Your beauty doesn't translate on podcasts either.
It doesn't.
Let's just say that.
I think I have
Yeah,
I think I have a telemarketer voice. I think I'd be really good at that job.
You have a telemarketer voice and a face that I'm not going to go.
I don't believe I've ever heard somebody say I'd be good at that job in regards to telemarketing.
Or
Thank you.
What's a telemarketer voice exactly either? Because I find myself annoyed by telemarketers regardless of
That's
said
the key.
voice.
Bland, slightly polite, also pushy at the same time.
That is exactly how I'm described to friends of friends.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Bland, pushy at times.
So when we have to start having people call about PHNX memberships,
Yeah,
you're
I'm the
hear
call
Shane's
guy.
voice on the other end of the line. Brian in the chat says, Nader is a Kirkland book. I like that. Yes,
Hey, some Kirkland brand things are you get your bang for your
they're
buck.
almost as good as the non-Kirkland brand. Let's belly up to the bar. Let's see what our drink of the night is. Oh, that's right. The
it's
drink
a
of the night is the 3BR in honor of the one and only Landry Shamwet, as we call him on the program. And he was wet from deep tonight as he shot 5 of 9 from the floor, 4 of 8 from three-point land, had 19 points overall, added in 4 assists as well. This was the kind of night that the Suns had been waiting for from Landry Shamet. They give him the big rookie extension in the offseason, that $40+ million that he got. And tonight was kind of his welcome to the Suns moment.
For sure. It's something you need off the bench for the Suns team because that's where a lot of everything falls apart when the bench came in after the Suns team had built a solid lead in the first quarter and just gave it up. And that's the story so far. And that is not a good story to have moving forward. No.
But the bench also kind of provided that spark plug in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Like you said, that spark, that JaVale McGee just during that stretch and all those guys, like they all just seemingly turned it around. And then when the starters came back in, it felt like they were just right on the same page as those guys were when they went out. But I don't know, man. I think that this was a much needed win because as close as this game was, this was getting pretty scary in regards to this team and just how many points. Like Rockets had a great night.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree with that. I don't want to take anything away from them. I just think defensively the Suns they haven't been bringing it in lately, and this was a prime example, especially in the first half.
I'm glad the lid came off for the Suns from the three-point line against a team like the Rockets because if they're only able to win by less than 20 against a Rockets team when they're shooting pretty well from three, I don't think it would have translated against a playoff team come Atlanta Hawks on Saturday.
I don't think anything that they've done this season will translate real well against true playoff teams. You can debate whether the Lakers are an actual playoff team or not based on how they are, how that's constructed, whatever you want to think about the Lakers. But I feel like Portland was a real playoff team. They lost that one. Denver, real playoff team. They lost that one. Yep. The Suns still have not figured it out. Again, this should have been the Suns of last season are back kind of game, and it was you did enough to win kind of game.
Yeah.
And that's not comforting when you're playing what will likely be the worst team in the Western Conference, unless OKC. Yeah. I think them and OKC will be battling
that
out.
3BR is tasting a little bit stale.
It is. No, it's tasting like what it was named after. Let's be honest. 3BR is the kind of beer that you need for a day like this. It's cheap, it's easy, and
a day like
this,
if you mean a day like this, like every day, cheap beer is where I live. I don't know if it's because I'm closer to college than you guys are, but
hold on, we got Leah Merrill behind the Mac tonight, who is I am beer on the Coyotes, and you are cheap beer. I get it, Shane. So we've got that going on. I love that's an internal joke. If you don't watch the Coyote Show, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, what are you doing?
The host, and she was beer for Halloween, so it's become a thing. So I love Brian also in the chat saying Kaminsky Cove Investments to the moon. You gotta love Frank Kaminsky getting additional minutes on this team. I love it.
And not garbage minutes either.
No.
They were fourth quarter minutes that were taken away from JaVale McGee.
Which is crazy. He hadn't played, and that's how much that I think Monty respects what Frank does. And the effort he puts in is, I'm not afraid to put you in the fourth quarter. What is it? Espo dressed up as Shane for Halloween was so damn scary.
It really was.
it really looked like somebody inflated Shane and put him on the set.
The thing that I'm mad about is the Hawks, after I mentioned that you might have to rock a mustache, me and Espo made a bet on our PHNX Daily Bet show that if the Hawks surpassed their win total, he would have to shave everything but the mustache, and then vice versa, I would have to shave my mustache if they surpass their win total, and they're now 4-5. So
and they're going to be 4-6 after Saturday. So
yeah.
when they roll into town.
Yeah.
I hope you don't like that mustache.
I love it. I love it.
I love it too. I don't know what he's going to look like without it. That's
scary.
November usually was my Movember month. I usually have a mustache, but I felt it would devalue our bet, so I just kept the beard.
I'm telling you, it's a crutch to my face. It really helps. It helps everything going on up here.
Shane's mustache, a crutch to his face, everybody. Yes, out of context quote. Shane Diefenbach with the latest one. Look, today this was cathartic when you consider everything going on today, and kudos to Devin Booker, our DraftKings player of the game, as our king of the game, as he dropped 27 points, had 9 rebounds, had 5 assists. He still only shot 8 of 18, but he did go 4 of 8 from 3-point land tonight. I don't know that I want to say Devin Booker's back, but Devin Booker's getting closer to
scoring points more than he has in the past is an accurate and true statement that you can say. This season.
He has not been the Devin Booker we've known, but tonight was as close as we've gotten to traditional Devin Booker.
The thing he did tonight was he held them through that first quarter, right? Or the first half. Yeah. The first half they were really struggling with scoring, and at times he was the only guy that could do it. So he was that key. It's weird how this team sometimes gets affected by this, where like they all can't do something. Like, don't get me wrong, Mikal Bridges was also playing a role in the first half, but at just times it seems like none of them can score, and it's just such an odd, flow that they considering how many scorers they have. It's just odd that they get into that funk.
I think it's more. I think it's better that he's waking up late rather than disappearing late. Because the last game against the Pelicans, he willed them to victory, and this game he kept them in the game when things were getting rough. And that's better than him falling apart come late game and them losing a game because of it. But there's still something off. I really think it's fatigue, or maybe it's just early season stuff. It's nothing to be worried about yet.
Fatigue, COVID.
Yeah.
Who knows? These guys working out in the off season. It could have put too much effort into that as well in the short off season. His legs haven't been there yet. And look, I'd rather have Devin Booker have a very slow start to the season and finish strong than vice versa. Look, if the Suns have a similar performance to last year, where they're like 8-8 after 16, they're at a 500 mark, and then they go on a run again. You've seen how important that is. It's the momentum going into the playoffs, not what you're doing right now.
Very true.
You'd like to see him playing better as a whole, but I'm okay with it at the moment.
That's kind of like the philosophy for most LeBron teams as of late. Like, just get there, and then when we're there, we'll turn it on. But
that didn't work so well for him last year.
I know. I'm well aware of that.
Somebody commented the Lakers are down 2. They're playing the Thunder tonight, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, no LeBron, but still.
See the bottom feeders of the West hanging around with teams.
Well, it feels like the Suns were just playing for a championship like 3 weeks ago, right? So you combine that with the fact that now every team, especially the good ones, are going to come out and try to beat this team. Like, this team's the best in the West, so they have the target on their back.
I don't like the target thing. Like, if you can't come out and get up for a game as the Suns, like, I'm sorry. Every night you should be coming out and playing, because if I know the target's on my back, I should be playing that much harder. I hate that excuse.
Yeah, it's
for
not a good
professional
excuse.
athletes.
I don't think it's an excuse. I just think it's something that's factual. I think the teams that we play are going to have that extra, they're going to play extra hard against the Suns just to prove that they can beat the team that made it to the Western Conference, to the finals last year.
Okay, well, then I think it's pretty crappy that the Rockets, if they can play that way, don't on every night. Like, that's just sad. So DraftKings King of the Night is Devin Booker. A reminder, use that code PHNX when you sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook app, and you're going to put $5 down. I'm telling you what
I was going to say, wow, you're commanding it.
I'm commanding this.
Go.
Use the code PHNX when you draft America, or when you download, you can draft it.
There's
When
a
you
draft.
download DraftKings
I'm of age. I'm
sportsbook
scared.
app, then you're going to put $5 down on an NFL team. I'm walking you through this, all right? We will get through this together as I do this ad read. You're going to put $5 down on an NFL team. They're going to win. You're going to get 200 in free bets.
Instantly.
And then you're going to take out your significant other for sweet dinner. Yeah,
Nice,
see?
nice,
See?
yeah,
Derek's new to this.
I don't know the
He
sweet
doesn't get
dinner
that
thing.
I claim that I'm going to take the missus out for a sweet dinner, and then I just bet crazy things that I'm never going
Right,
to win
you
on.
just
Hey,
leave it in
that's the
there
whole
and bet
thing.
on cricket.
First, let's finish the DraftKings.
So,
I got it, by the way. I know it.
okay. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to do that, and it's safe, easy, reliable, secure. A lot of other words I could say that praise this app. You're going to love it. And it is very easy to get your money out, which is the best part of it. So when you hit on it, you don't have to make excuses why you can't afford the nice dinner that you're taking your significant other out for. 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details.
That was clean.
I got my wife on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. She won like $250, and now she's going out on a sweet girls weekend with a friend of hers and staying in a villa in Scottsdale.
Wait, she didn't take you out?
Nope, sir.
She
Nope,
said,
not even allowed.
"You're
I was
staying
the one that
home.
hooked it up, and
Yeah,
you're
getting
taking the kid to Dave and
Yeah.
Buster's, and I'm going
Espo, if you
for
ever
a sweet ladies weekend.
if you actually ever hit one of those, you're taking me out now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Just to
taking
show.
you out?
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Hell yeah.
I just keep
I was
betting.
here when you agreed to
I
it.
just keep betting crazy parlays.
Yeah.
I won one tonight, so maybe I can take you out.
should take
Yeah,
me
you
out.
should take
There
him
we go.
out. Uh-huh.
Shane's taking me out for a sweet dinner. Low Toad Capone, what is thy bidding? I don't know where we're going with that. We will have Gerald Bourguet join us shortly from the Footprint Center. He is out there hearing from Coach and some of the players as well. I'm staring at the wheel of Montyisms, and I got to tell you, I am so glad that we did not have to use that tonight.
Not only because a loss would stink, but also I just didn't want to move it.
Well,
Yeah.
Moving that thing is
It's
that's
heavy.
usually when Lindsay's here and the crew's here. I have to walk over awkwardly, pull it in. I can't read the thing. We really need to use the smaller wheel, is what I'm
The
trying
little
to
tiny
say.
The wheel of
yeah.
fantasy. It's the wheel of fantasy.
It is for the hockey show. We don't do that kind of thing around. This is a straight-laced program, Leo. I don't know if you were even on mic if they heard that, but okay, good. This is a straight-laced program here on PHNX Suns After Dark, or the VIP Lounge, which I think we're going to start calling it here soon. Overall impressions, when you look at this, does it feel like the Suns are turning a corner? Is this more of the same of what we've seen? What are you guys thinking?
The blinkers on. They're trying.
Mhm.
They're trying to turn the corner, but it hasn't happened yet. The encouraging things, the thing that's being lost in all of this is Mikal Bridges. I mean,
Yes,
even though there
unfortunately.
wasn't as much of an offensive pour in the second half, he played incredible in that first quarter and first half in general. And even when he's not scoring, he doesn't need to score to add what he does.
No.
He has so many intangibles. He's obviously an incredible defender. And the team just plays better when he's on the court. So to see him forcing his own shot, and yes, I say forcing because some of those shots he took were pretty bad in the second half.
Yeah, they were.
But it's encouraging to see that he believes in himself to become that guy, and he should become that guy.
But he only missed 4 shots.
Yeah.
He had 16 points, 3 rebounds on the night, but his length is still unbelievable. It doesn't even
Baffling.
look like he
Yeah,
has to
no.
jump to dunk it. He's got the freakishly long arms.
Or
right?
like that block where he just kind of snuck up from behind
Yeah.
and got that block and
Hit
just
it.
effortless, you know. I kind of agree with Shane. I think like this feels like the team's coming together. It feels like the bench is proving themselves, even though they had it was rough at times. But I felt like when it really mattered there in the third quarter, which, you know, lately I've been having to watch too many Phoenix basketball teams like fall apart in the third quarter. So it was nice to see them have that big third quarter, turn it around and hang on to things in the fourth. It did feel like they kind of went into like cruising mode a little too early in that game. You know, it felt
Yeah.
like not to knock Frank or Kaminsky Cove by any
Hey,
stretch of the
yeah.
imagination.
You do not besmirch the good name of Frank Kaminsky
I'm just
on this
saying.
program, or you can get out.
I was just looking at my watch when they brought him in, going, okay.
You know what's funny though? The third quarter last year was the Suns' quarter. Like that was
Yes.
when they started
Yes.
playing the best basketball, and that's what they're missing. I feel like they don't have that quarter because they come out flat sometimes, and they were coming out flat last year even, and they need that third quarter to be their quarter. That's why Monty's such a great coach, because he can make these adjustments. And if without that third quarter, the Suns team it scares me a little bit.
There's been a lot of just the play has been inconsistent, and you haven't seen it. Tonight was a lot more of the same, but can we go back to the Frank Kaminsky comment?
Of course we can.
From Derek.
No, I was just trying to move on.
Of anybody in our organization that I thought would appreciate Frank Kaminsky.
Oh, I appreciate
Derek
Frank
Montilla and the sense of style that you rock.
Yeah, correct.
The fact that you call yourself the mayor, which we didn't discuss.
You
we didn't bring this up.
Pointed that to me.
Well,
by
I
the
did,
way,
but I can also revoke it too. So
Correct.
watch what you say about Frank.
I
is what I'm
apologize.
telling you.
I told Frank he was the best dressed Suns player when I saw him in Old Town like a month back.
And he laughed, I'm sure.
He disagreed with me.
He disagreed.
The man did have a J.C. Penney sponsorship.
And he does cut off his sleeves.
Hey, we're
we're a fan of the sleeves.
Don't we all cut off our sleeves? What's going on here?
I'm not Bill Belichick. Thank you very much. These arms stay covered all the time. All the time. All right. We might actually have Frank on the show. We're working on getting Frank to join the show. And it's going to be one hell of an episode. I'll tell you that much when we have Frank. Patrick in the chat. Frank is the man. No word should be spoken against his glory.
Okay.
Damn straight, Patrick.
Yeah.
You tell Derek. We put him in timeout.
I don't know what I was thinking.
I mean, you're the mayor. I'm like the grand poobah of Kaminsky Cove.
Sure.
And you found it necessary to insult the man.
I felt like this was a broader attack on the Suns and not specifically Kaminsky.
All I heard
Cove.
was Kaminsky bad, and that's it.
I didn't say bad. Did I say bad? I didn't say bad.
All I know is that was one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard.
Oh
on the
my
PHNX
God!
show.
And that's why you'll be back as a guest, Shade.
We hugged
Derek
earlier.
I don't know.
Shut up.
I don't know if Derek gets to come back.
I can't believe this. This is.
Luke in the chat. That would be a Hall of Fame moment if it happens. Make it happen. We're efforting to get Frank on the show, and we will discuss Kaminsky Cove with him. By the way, JT saying the Lakers are down 6 now. Tonight just keeps getting better.
Yeah, things are looking up.
Hey, we'll take it. So Chris Paul, I don't want to go to the negative, but let's talk a little bit about Chris Paul. He finishes with 9 points on 3 of 10 shooting. This is another bad night from the field for Chris Paul.
Yep.
I'm getting to the point where I am concerned about his offense. Last game, he did have that moment where he turned it on, and helped them get that win. But we saw him go 1 for 10. We've seen him go 3 for 10 now. Yeah. At what point are we overly concerned about the shooting game of Chris Paul? Obviously, 13 assists tonight, another great game distributing, but shooting-wise, there appears to be a problem.
Would you prefer that he shot his way out of it, or because I feel like he realizes he's not having that great of a shooting night and then doesn't really put the effort out there to be doing anything more than distributing the ball? So it's a small sample size as far as his shots are concerned because he doesn't keep pressing it, which we saw him do in the playoffs last year, and we've seen him do at times. And he can kind of like get out of that rut, and then all of a sudden he won't miss a shot.
I'm concerned because much like those third quarters of last year, Chris Paul turning it on when the Suns needed it offensively was a hallmark of their game.
Sure.
Put him in a cryo chamber. Yeah. Let him relax for a little bit.
I mean, if this is a tired legs, whatever the case, maybe you're right. Maybe you give him some time off, because it is concerning to me that he is having such struggles offensively.
Yeah.
What are we?
I'm really enjoying myself just reading the chat. The chat's just really good.
Jacob's in there. Jacob's always in there stirring up something. Last episode, he got me. Last post-game show, he got me yelling.
Yeah.
After he said something.
Right. For the ballpark guess for how old Shane over here is
37.
37.
I've been called worse.
Your mustache makes you look like you're in your 40s. Your attitude makes you look like you're 12. I don't know. I mean,
Those were both awful things to hear.
I love both of them. I didn't say they were bad.
Oh, man.
You wish you were behind the Mac right now, don't you?
Because I can hide.
You can hide.
We don't make eye contact behind the Mac.
I get so nervous, Espo.
Leah's like, oh, don't come back to me at this point talking about that.
Jacob is a troublemaker, though, in the chat. I see him. I see what he's doing in there.
You know, I do love the chat also asking me to go full salt, go a little salty tonight on something. I don't have the energy.
No.
This is the third show. It's been a long day.
Very long day.
I mean, I could muster up some fake argument about things, like some fake anger.
You kind of took it out on Derek a little bit.
You did. Yeah, you got mad about the Frank Kaminsky thing for sure.
And the fact that at one point when we set up this show, I said, oh, we're like the only show with 4 people. We'll never have a night that not at least 2 of us are here. And then
look at you.
I had to do the
You're all by
show by myself.
Hey.
And then you guys were kind enough. Well, Shane,
I was there for
jumped in.
support.
You were there for support. You're like my support dog.
Okay. I'll take that. I will take that from what's been said earlier. At least I serve a purpose now.
You guys were kind enough to be here because if I had to do the post game by myself, I don't know where this show would have gone.
It would have gotten weird fast.
And my daughter will be calling in from her bed right now.
We've been like, we're gonna take calls. Hello, New York. You're on Larry King Live. Like I would have totally
start doing both voices. It would have been great.
Oh, like Phil Hendry back then. God, this is going in weird places.
Well, see, I mean, there's a decent question in the chat about you having all this real estate in Kaminsky Cove and still not taking the wife out for.
Well, let's be honest.
Have you seen the place?
Remember how underwater I was with all that Kaminsky Cove property up until like 2 days ago?
You wanted everybody to invest in it. It was
and
like, hey, everybody come buy land.
Nobody's bought land. And then everybody wants some now, huh?
Guess.
It was just me hanging out in the Cove for a while. Yeah, that's right.
2.6 minutes tonight.
Derek trying to put me back underwater with the Cove. I see what it is. Luke saying this may go back to HR, Espo. I'm going to leave that one alone. Sticks for Simmons, 2 forwards with similar minutes and value to their teams right now for Bailey. That is actually very accurate.
That is one. There's no false statement there.
The lie detector says true.
True
on that one. Brian says Greg only summons the saltiness when we lose with the white jerseys. Damn straight. To hell. That's right. It was a purple home win tonight. That's right.
Yeah.
Put another one on the board for
the
purple jerseys.
I was wearing it earlier.
I don't know what the record is. I could go check our friends at Suns Uni Tracker. They'd tell me, but that would require me looking at the iPad for a little too long. But I'm telling you, the purple jerseys vastly superior than the white jerseys at home. So
I don't know if you care, but purple's my favorite color. I just wanted to get that out there.
Shane,
yeah, you don't.
Did we just become best friends? Purple's my favorite color too.
Suns are above 500 in the purple icon uniforms.
Oh, they are. What are we? 2-1?
No,
3-2. What are we?
This is the only color we've worn 3 times so far this season. So we will hit number 4 in our next game against Atlanta.
So hold on, what's the record in the purple uniforms?
Well, if they've won it 3 times this season, I'm guessing 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
Right. I'll take 2-1.
I'm not great at math.
That's low to Capone. I want the purple drink. We did that the other night. Yeah. That was nice here at the bar.
I'm still hungover from the Frank's Badass Brew.
That one hit hard.
It stung. It stung going down.
That tasted like it was made in a bathroom tub.
It probably was.
It might have been. You know, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Gerald is very busy out there at Footprint Center. I know he's trying to talk with a lot of players. There are obviously a lot going on, and the first opportunity to speak with players. So we will let Gerald off the hook tonight from Footprint Center, but he will be here on Saturday.
You know how it is. After a win, everybody wants to talk after a win.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, and yeah, a lot to talk about after today.
There was something. There was something else with the. There was something said on the broadcast.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
We can't leave yet because we got one heck of a quote overnight. Vibranium is a metal known for its extraordinary abilities to absorb, store, and release large amounts of kinetic energy. Via Wikipedia, via Kevin Ray, in reference to Mikal Bridges this evening.
It should be like The Office, where he quoted Wayne Gretzky, and it should be crossed out with his name underneath it.
One of my favorite part about watching the shows or watching the games here before shows is the amount of times you guys or me and you look at each other after something's said in the broadcast, because we're going about our business, we're like on our computers or something or watching the game, and then it registers, and we're both like, what?
I literally had to get out the iPad and rewind to listen to the mentioning vibranium, Kevin Ray saying this. Then I realized it was the exact quote from the Wikipedia entry
verbatim
for vibranium.
Vibranium verbatim.
And then I'm almost 100% positive that Eddie didn't realize that it was a reference to Marvel. And so the whole thing is bizarre, but then we get a Doc Ock reference later in the game from Kevin Ray, and he goes back to vibranium in the fourth quarter.
And I'm suspicious he wasn't using it correctly. I feel like he meant adamantium, which is what Wolverine skeleton is made out of, but that's a whole other nerd thing that I could get
shield,
on.
Captain America's shield is vibranium, right?
Yeah, well, I think so. The new one that they make it. Right.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Speaking
nerd, yes.
Speaking of nerds, I just want to point something out. Jacob, you confirmed my theory that you were a snitch in middle school. Whenever the teacher
would look at this guy.
You're the type of kid.
The grammar police.
Yeah, he's the type of kid to be like, "Oh, you forgot to ask us to turn in the homework."
Hold on.
Go to sleep,
Did
Jacob.
I say metal?
No, I think it's the way it's written in our graphic.
Like
I think one of our producers is attacking.
Did you copy that from Wikipedia?
It is wrong. It is wrong.
Espo sent it to me, and I
copied it from Wikipedia, but it's been a long day.
It's been a long, terrible day.
Look, Jacob.
Yeah.
Get out of the chat and go to bed.
Yeah. Why are you here? Don't you have better things to do?
Go home. Look, I think Kevin Ray did a Marvel marathon today.
Yes, I do too.
That or he got dared by his kids to work in Marvel references.
He caught up on What If.
K-Ray came into the studio for the pregame show and was like, "Hey EJ, you ever seen these superhero movies?"
You know this thing called Marvels? I think the kids might like to hear about it. I was impressed. I love K-Ray, and we have fun with it.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that's like, I needed a moment like that today. Where I was like, did I really hear that? I did. And it's wholesome and it's fun and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was the exact Wikipedia reference or definition makes it that much sweeter.
He was looking it up in the moment on his phone, I bet.
So thank you, Kevin Ray, for a moment of levity this evening. We appreciate it. So that's all I got. I don't have any. This is appropriate. This is show 3 that I've been live on today. I've been here, what am I, 13 hours in? I think it's time we wrap this up.
Yeah, Espo needs to go home and go to sleep.
I don't know your Twitter handles because I didn't memorize them before the show. I only have capacity to remember Lindsey, Gerald, and Saul. So share with the people. Actually, it's Shane Shane Deef.
At Shane Deef.
There we go. And I should know yours.
I know.
Look at you.
At Captain Cave.
There you go. Captain Caveman with a K.
Look at that. My brain still works after all these hours today. So for Tarek, for Shane, for Leah behind the Mac, who's filling in for Shane, who just didn't do his duties so he could sit here and talk.
Yeah.
I'm Greg. I'm Espo. I'm whatever you want to call me.
I'm a goddamn punching
for
bag.
Frank. This is for Frank.
Just don't call me late to dinner. We'll talk to you next time. Oh, boy.